The Johnson County Library story is actually very interesting and quite charming. In the 1950s, there were a group of mothers in Johnson County called the Baby Buggy Moms. And they were a group of mothers with young children, and they were looking for, obviously, ways to educate their children.
And the first libraries that they set up were in their own homes or in the back of shops and stores in the county. But they felt it was important enough to have some kind of a unified library system.
It was not until 1952 that a bond issue was put on the ballot in Johnson County to establish funding to actually build a proper library. The library moves along with the community, and we strive to keep our finger on the pulse of what matters to the people who live here.
It's so hard to pinpoint a role because a library can be whatever a person needs it to be.
It's a meeting place. It's an educational institution. It's a private place. It's a place of discovery.
And I think community-wide, I feel like that's where the library really excels, is we maintain this level of information for people who need it. They may never need it, but if they do, this is the place where they should look.
My sister and I lived in walking distance to our neighborhood library. And my sister, who's almost 5 years older than me, was an avid reader. And I remember my very first trip to the library so vividly. She went off to find the book that she was interested in, and I found myself on my own in the children's section of the library for the first time. And I picked up a book by the children's author, Richard Scarry. And I remember sitting in the children's section with that book and really understanding for the first time why my sister was so interested in books. It was the first book that ever really captured me. I remember thinking, what if I can be as smart as my sister? What if I can learn to love books as much as she does?
Well, I think my biggest what if, and what I've worked on and continue to work on, is what if every child in Johnson County started kindergarten with the skills they needed to be ready to read. I've been doing story time for a very, very long time, and the first kids that I saw in preschool story time are graduating high school this year and next. So I've been here for almost an entire school range of kids. And when I hear from a parent years later that we still sing your welcome song, or we still remember when you told that story, I know that what I'm doing in the library or what I'm doing in a classroom visit is extending beyond that. So I'm making a difference in some small, what may seem insignificant way, but I'm making a difference. I'm making a memory for that kid, and hopefully that will be a good memory of the library and of me and of books and reading in general.